What's up? Welcome back to the show. You're listening to the Twosome podcast. I'm your host, Blair Wheeler, here with DJ Thama DJ. What's going on, brother?
How's it going, man? Quite the weekend. I feel like I haven't stopped going. I saw you were doing some stuff this weekend as well. First birthday party looked like it was a blast. Those were some sick outfits, by the way.
Yeah, I can't take any credit for it. My wife kind of did everything, so I was just told where to pick up the food, where to where to be, you know, where like what drinks to buy.
There you go.
But yeah, she did. Her background's kind of in like event planning and branding and that kind of thing in the apparel world. And anytime we have a kid's birthday party, she goes over the top in the best way. So if you didn't see my son's first birthday party was the past weekend, it was Masters themed. Or I don't know if I could say that. I think I might get a C and D from them. If they do, I'm gonna frame it. It's gonna be living right here
Right?
behind me. But yeah, it was like Augusta themed. We all had caddy outfits. It was awesome. It was such a fun time.
Yeah, it looked like a blast. Looked like it went really well and super fitting for what's to come. Did you get out and play at all?
No, but I saw you did. So let's talk about your golf because I much like your followers, I'm living vicariously through you. So how's your golf game right now?
Golf game is pretty good. I got out twice since we were on the pod last. Played on Friday and shot a 76. Everything firing on all cylinders with double on 18. So that was shot to the heart right there. So playing really good, except for yesterday. Started out hot out of the gates and then shot a 81. If you know Old Corkscrew down by me, you know it's a super tough track.
What
And
what's the name of it?
it's called Old Corkscrew. It's a Jack
What a
Nicklaus
name.
course. Yeah, and it's just one of those where you can have the perfect tee shot. You can be 285 down the middle, hit the middle of the fairway, and it just rolls off down a ravine into the water. You're just gone. You're like,
Oh my gosh.
I can't play the ball any better than that. Super tough track. It's interesting. They've had a disease on their greens for like a couple years now. And every year they kind of get it to the point where it's like, okay, it's going to be gone. It's going to be great. And then we have a problem every single year, and there's like three greens that are just kind of destroyed. So, um, didn't really affect me actually. I was my approach shots were good enough on those where I didn't really have to worry about that. But sucks to see a super cool course like that have something like that going on where it just kind of keeps happening. And I don't really know what the answer is to that. So if there's any greenskeepers here, any grounds crew people listening, chime in on what they should do. Do you just close that course down for 5 months and redo four of those
Resawed the
greens
greens.
completely? Like, I don't know. They've tried doing certain things, but I don't know to what extent. But anyway, got out and played. Went well for the most part. Yeah, definitely Friday round was firing on all cylinders, and let's hope that that can come back every time I play. But yeah, other than
Yeah,
that, it's was been go go go. We've had family in town. I feel like spring break down in Florida now. It's been nonstop for 2 weeks, so happy that that's coming to an end. But then now we have our little spring break next week. So definitely looking forward to that.
yep. And you're referencing the Masters tournament.
Yes, sir, I am.
Nice, me too.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I mean, I get to play golf on Monday, which I'm very excited about. That'll be my third round this year. So we're in March, April now. And yeah, I've played three times. So very much looking forward to playing golf. I'm playing
Where you,
Championship Retreat
oh, you are?
where
So I'm playing there on Wednesday.
cool, yeah,
Oh,
great one.
oh,
It's one of my favorite courses in the world.
really?
Um, yeah, 100%. Partially because the first few times I played it with Mr. Player, who designed it. Well, designed one of the
Amazing.
nines, and it's the only course in the world where Gary Player, Jack Nicklaus, and Arnold Palmer all co-designed it. So they all designed nine holes, and so um, the Nicklaus and the Palmer nines are the ones they play the Augusta National Women's Amateur on the first two rounds of that, and then they move to Augusta National for the final round. And I asked Mr. Player about it, and he said the only reason because his nine is more similar. His nine's called the Creek Nine. Um, there's Creek, Bluff, and I don't know what Jack's nine's called, but his nine is more similar to Augusta National. There's a couple holes that you look at him on the tee and you're like, I feel like I'm on 14 at Augusta, right? That long par five, kind of dog legs around. So you kind of feel like that when you're on that tee. There's a handful of other holes that are very similar to some holes at Augusta that he kind of put his fingerprints on and put in there. Uh, yeah, it's one of my favorite courses in the world. You're gonna have a blast. So I'm playing there Monday, and then we're gonna have some fun.
What does your Masters week look like then? You're playing Monday. Are you going Tuesday? Or are you going Wednesday? What's your scoop?
Yeah, I'm going Tuesday. I'm going to the tournament on Tuesday, and then Wednesday I'm gonna peel out and probably head back home. I don't have a ticket, and there's really nothing for me to do there when you don't have a ticket at Augusta, and I don't I don't have an equipment partner that I can go like do some stuff on the tour bus, and Lab isn't doing anything there because I'm obviously have the Lab deal, so um, don't really have anything going on where I can make sense to stay. So I'm heading home on Wednesday.
Gotcha. I'll be I'm coming in Tuesday afternoon, live pod on Tuesday night. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Um then we
That's gonna
got
be
that
fun
little
because we can recap my whole day at the tournament and kind of get you geared up for yours.
same. That's gonna be sick because like I want to hear all this. You gotta tell me all the spots to go, best places to be. Obviously, I'm excited for everything. Then I get to play on what you get to give me the full lowdown on everything because then I get to play on
Yeah.
Wednesday where you played on Monday, and then I'm going on Thursday. Um, so dude, it's like Christmas morning for me. I'm so excited. I just want
Yeah,
like
it's gonna be
everyone
so much
keeps
fun.
saying it's Disneyland, like for adults. It's like it's the dream, right? To go. It's golfer's paradise, and so, um, obviously, that's right up my alley. I'm just excited to experience it finally, and to just be able to have said like I've gone to the Masters, right? And
Yeah. Check it
yeah,
off
I'm
the bucket list.
stoked. Yeah,
Over under, how much are you gonna spend in the Masters gift shop? Over
I
under
was
a
I was talking
thousand.
about that with my wife this morning, and I'm like, well, I don't know when the next time I'll be there. Hopefully I'll go back next year, but like $1,000? Is that too extreme?
That's on the low end, bud.
Okay, good. Cause like I don't here's my thing. I'm not one to get like trinkety things. Like I'm not gonna get a flag. I'm not gonna get ball
You should
marker.
get a flag.
I should
You
get a
should get a
flag.
flag.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, maybe I'll
because you
buy a
don't
flag
know.
then.
Like you could be at Champions Retreat, right? Mr. Player's there all the time. He has a house over there that he stays in. You could run into him. You could get a Gary Player signed Masters flag. I don't have any flags hanging up. I don't have an office that I could put them up in. But the first year I went to the Masters, I bought it was like 2021, so I bought a 2021 Masters flag, and then I got another one in 23 um, because Mr. Player signed it for me, and only Masters champions can sign inside the United States on a flag. Do you know that?
No, I didn't, but now I do.
Yeah, so one of the cool things about Augusta is like they have all these like unspoken rules, and one of them is that one kids kids are the only people allowed to sign up or line up and ask for autographs. So all these guys that have autographs are like getting kids to get them for them and then hawking them elsewhere. So kids are the only one that are allowed to ask for autographs, and then Masters champions are the only ones that are allowed to sign their name inside the United States on the flag. Everybody else, like Bryson or who hadn't won the Masters, Brooks or gosh, Rory, right? They have to sign it on the perimeter of the flag.
Ah, I didn't know that. That's sick.
Yeah, it's fun.
Okay,
It's
so
a fun.
flag.
And
Other
yeah,
like I mean, maybe a couple shirts, couple hats, quarter zip, like that's probably my bit. I'm a big clothes guy, but other than that,
yeah.
I don't really need anything. I still haven't had anyone text me saying to get them anything, so I'm gonna keep it that way. I'll probably get my dad a shirt, um, get my wife
Well, look,
something.
if you get five shirts and a quarter zip, you're at $600 right there, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, true. All
Is it
right.
like that's not much. And then you're not like when I went the first time, I was like, oh, I'll get a hat, I'll get a shirt, like whatever. I bought a t-shirt, I bought something for all my kids. I had two at the time, bought something for my wife. But then they had all this other stuff that I was like, oh my gosh, this is cool. So I bought like a dop kit, like a travel dop kit.
Sick. Yeah.
And it's like a green leather dop, like green dop kit with like leather embossments on it. It was like $100. It was like, this is, I travel enough, like I'm gonna make this worth it. And I've
Right.
had it for 5 years now.
That's your
So
is that your go-to when you travel then still?
still, I throw it in the bag and take it everywhere. It's kind of grimy inside, so I need to figure out a way to wash it. But I had like toothpaste like explode inside and like
Right.
loam spill and like all that stuff. Yeah, I bought that, and then I've never bought a polo because I'm not a big polo person. I don't like wearing like logos on my shirt unless it's like obviously a Johnny O one. So like I bought a few hats and I bought the dop kit and then I bought some stuff for my friends that have asked me and stuff for my kids and I was like right at $700 without even blinking an eye. And
Yeah.
then you're not even looking at like, do you want to get a nice Masters decanter or a coffee mug
True.
or
Yeah.
anything that could, you know, be additive to one of your cooking videos? They have like Augusta National knives, right? Like, do you want a nice cutting board that you could cut some meat on? Like, all of that's there.
See, I didn't even think about that, which I might just have to yell out to my wife right now and be like, "Hey, should we up that to like 2 or 3 grand?"
Yeah,
Well,
up the budget,
I'll wait on that one.
up the budget. So
Yeah,
yeah, I have friends that are in the social media space, and they always take like an extra contract or two around the Masters just to compensate for the money they're going to spend in the gift shop.
I feel like I've been that way too. I would text my manager and I was like, "Hey T, could we just a couple of these ones coming in? Let's just take them no matter what. We gotta we gotta cover some costs here, but
Yeah, I did the
it's
same
worth
thing.
it."
I did the same thing. So yeah, I'm excited. It's my favorite tournament of the year, my favorite week of the year. So it's gonna be fun to catch up. It's gonna be even better that we're gonna do a live podcast from Augusta National, which would be fun. Hopefully we can play some golf soon. I was hoping it would be this week, but doesn't look like it. So it's the way it
We'll make it
is.
happen. We'll have to
Yeah.
might have to travel up there. See ya one
Come
of
on.
these weeks.
Come on, dude. You can bring the family, get a house, and have a
Love
beach
it,
weekend, even though you live at the beach.
right? There's no better place.
Yeah. And like I'm coming to Stream Song in June. So maybe you can mosey your way out to Tampa.
Yeah. Yep.
Make that happen.
Might have to.
Cool.
I feel like my
Cool. So
schedule is nuts, but
yeah,
yeah,
same.
we're gonna make it happen for sure.
Yeah, we'll work it out. So sweet. Well, let's get into the podcast. Starting with the Houston Open, the chef, Minwoo Lee, Dr.
Right.
Chapinski,
Love it. I'm
taking
so
down
happy for him. Like the first career win. What is he, 26 years old?
He's young.
So relatively young. Couldn't have happened to like a nicer guy. It's like we said before, someone who kind of has that name recognition, right? Where, I mean, he's not the JTs of the world, the Rorys of the world, but he's kind of that second cut, right? And it's just nice to see someone like that finally get the first career win. And there's no better place in there to bring confidence into Augusta, right? Like, I mean, he's cooking, right? Keep on cooking, get that dessert rolling. Like, there's no better way to top it off with an, potential win at Augusta. I mean, um, he's got to be in the best situation right now of everyone, right? And don't you just roll that confidence right into it? That's how my golf game works anyway. I don't know about you, but if I have
Yeah, but
confidence going, there's no stopping.
how many guys follow up a win with a win though? Exactly. So, because I feel like the high is so high for them, like it's hard to keep that trajectory. And then there's so many demands that next week if they play. But I guess I think he's taking a week off. I don't think he's playing this week in whatever the next Valero Texas Open. Um, so I don't think he's playing this week. He's taking the week off. So that might give him a little breather
Hmm.
and then roll it into Augusta. So we'll see. But I think the biggest I love Minwoo Lee. I think he's an awesome character and great for the game of golf and great for professional golf because I feel like personally it needs more characters. It needs those rivalries like Phil and Tiger, and they need the bad guy. And I hope Rory becomes that villain that is missing it. Like, just own that dude. Um, but Minwoo Lee's a character, and the game of golf needs it. But the worst thing that could have happened was that he putted from off the green coming down 18. I think it was 18, but he putted from off the green, and his name is Doctor Chipinski, right? Chipinski. Like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, you can't putt from off the green when you're going in for the win. Not good for the
Right.
brand.
I also love some of his content too, where he just like, have you seen some of his stuff on socials? It's so funny. Like I mean, I eat that stuff up, right?
Yeah, same.
But same way, yeah, you can't have that name and then just put it up there. You gotta,
Texas legend.
yeah. Um, I mean, congrats, dude. The chef from one chef to another. Like, what do you want for dinner tonight? Right? Like, let's hook that one up. That'd be sick collab.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe he'll see this. We can get him
right?
on the pod. You can cook him something.
Right.
Um, so yeah, but it was cool to see. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, I think. I mean, like you said, there's no guys that it's so hard to go back to back. Where that's just what's cool about golf in general. Is like you have some guy qualifying on Monday, playing in the tournament over the weekend, makes the cut, and then all of a sudden he's like third, second place, and finishing on tour that weekend is like, whoa, that's just an insane. Like there's no other sports that can really do that. And obviously someone like him who's been battling for a while has had a bunch of close calls and now finally gets that first place is awesome. And he's what, 16th in FedEx now. Uh,
Yeah,
2019 turned pro. 6 years.
been a good couple of years for old Dr.
Yeah,
Chapinski, the
yeah,
chef.
yeah. Speaking of, all right, let's roll this one into one of the questions that we have on here, and is, do you think what was the Augusta one? Let me find this over here quick.
Yeah. So let's preface this real quick, right? So we we don't want to have like a golf recap podcast because neither of us are real like analysts. We're not golf experts here. We're just two regular dudes. So we'll talk about the tour every week. We talk about what we think, but this is more like about us and being normal guys, or like kind of hanging out and having a drink and talking about golf. So we asked you guys, the listeners, for some questions. We wanted to hear what you thought about the podcast, what you wanted to hear from us, and we compiled some of the best ones. DJ got a lot of them. I got a lot of them. So yeah, there's some good stuff here. So I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah. So first one, can an average golfer break 100 at Augusta
Under
in
tournament,
in tournament conditions?
no.
0% chance.
No, not like you go out there and not a blade of grass is out of place. I'm not joking. Not a blade of grass is out of place. So you under tournament conditions, you already have the nerves of going out. And I have some friends that have played it, right? So like scratch golfers that have gone out there on a normal whatever May afternoon, they got invited by a member and shot like an the golf itself is not hard. It's not a hard golf course, but the way they set it up during the tournament makes it so difficult. The greens are glass. The putting surface is perfect. You're putting on literal like wood tables. Um, the fairways are just as pure as they can be. So you have to hit it pure. If you chunk it, you get a lot of grass. You have the thought process of I'm playing Augusta National under tournament conditions, like this is as good of a test of golf as there can be. Like, there's not a chance you pick 100.
Well, that's how you were saying. You even have friends that played it that are scratch golfers ripping an 88. So for you and I, on a normal random day, non-tournament conditions, we're going to be battling to break 100 just based off caps, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's without tournament conditions. And I don't know about you, but I am just a head case. You can get in my head I'm the worst golfer in the world. right? But if I'm confident, I'm swinging the clubs, like I can play. But you like get your way into my head. Oh, I can't imagine these guys. Like I get nervous just teeing off in front of a random like group in front of me or behind me. I
Mhm.
played in a couple of pro-ams too, and dude, I shake. But there's no reason for me to do that. Like I don't really care what these people think, and like when the camera's off, even when we do our own content stuff, like the camera comes out, definitely a worse golfer than just going out and playing with the boys for sure. But there's just something about it. So imagine that ramped up times a million, right? On the biggest stage, tournament condition. Like there's no chance an average golfer's breaking 100.
Yeah, I'll put it in perspective. 3 years ago, I played Pinehurst number two a lot, right? Like I think I played it like 15 times last year on a U.S. Open year.
Okay.
3 years ago, I played it from the U.S. Open tees I was probably like a 12 or 13 handicap at the time. It was a random like November day. Greens were relatively soft. Fairways weren't rolling very fast. Um, but it's long, like 7,400 yards, 7,500 yards from back there. I shot a 98 on a random day in November with soft conditions and no
Uh-oh.
winds at Pinehurst, from the distances that the pros would play. You equate that to tournament conditions, like no way, because the greens are similar where they're kind of turtle shelled at Augusta. But there's so many peaks and valleys. And if you I was listening to this thing with Shane Lowry talking about playing with Tiger. This was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. He played with him for 3 rounds, and he knew exactly where he needed to land his ball on the green for it to catch a slope and, you know, funnel to the hole. He knew exactly where he needed to land balls in the fairway. He knew where and this is where this separates, us from them. They know where they can miss balls in the fairway. They can miss it left and it's okay. They can miss it right and it's okay. We're playing a 30-yard slice
Yeah,
or a 10-yard hook.
for sure.
Like you're aiming over those trees. You're like, I'm gonna hope this
Yeah.
thing comes back a little bit. So yeah, no way somebody breaks 100.
So what based on that too, what about if you compiled a scramble team? Let's call it you have a scratch golfer, let's say like all right, it's an average team, right? Like you just gonna go out and play a normal scramble like charity event or do something, right? So you usually have one ringer on the team, let's say they're like scratch or relatively close. Maybe someone like myself who's like that 3 to 4-ish, someone like you who you're 7 to 8-ish, you said?
Yeah, 7.
Eight. Okay. So then, and then you maybe have someone that's a 10. Let's just say everyone's single digit, maybe have one double digit cap.
Mhm.
Are they scrambling? Are they making the cut?
Well, I was just doing this. I was looking up what the cut was the last 2 years. Last year, remember there was that super windy year. The cut was at +7. The cut in 2023 was at +4, and the cut in 2022 was at +5. So let's give or take +4 or 5. Do you think a scramble team can shoot a 80 at Augusta? I'd say yeah. If we
I'd say
had a
yeah.
scramble team of a scratch golfer, a 7 handicap, 2 or 3, and a high handicapper, 100%, you're making a cut with an 80.
I agree with you. I think that if that cut is at 76, I don't know if it
Not
happens,
a chance. Not a chance.
right? But I agree with you. I think it's 80, and only because you you do have that. I mean, 4 guys that are single digits. That's a quality team. I say, right? That's probably like what is an average golfer now? What is the average handicap? What is it
I
even
think it's in the
considered?
20s.
What? That is that high?
I'm trying to talk in
Get
average golf
the
handicap.
analytics team. Get the analytics
Yeah,
team on the call
this
right
is what
now.
we need a producer. The average handicap in men is a 14.2,
Holy, okay, that's.
according to the USGA.
I was thinking it was closer to like 10, 11, but
No, so 14 is the average is an average handicap according to the USGA for men. Roughly equates to like a low 90s score.
Yeah, I see that then, I guess. I mean, yeah, I think if it was just an average scramble team then based on like that number, there's no chance that they even come close to a cut line. Let's say it's at 85. I don't even think it's possible at for the average, right, of those caps. It's not happening.
No. If you have a good scramble team, like you said, a handful of single digit handicappers, I think you could string together 80. It comes down to how's your putting, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've heard Adam Scott talk about it. I've talked to a handful of other players about it. Mr. Player is one of them. They all said if you are a good putter and have a good feel for the greens at Augusta, you'll do well. But if you're not a good putter, if it's like, Scotty Scheffler 4 years ago where he couldn't make a 3-foot putt, you're out.
So I'm
So
screwed. That's I don't putt well. I can get there. I can get there no problem. I just can't putt.
we can fix that.
Yeah.
We got some stuff. And I'm sure there's coaches listening to this. They can, weigh in on DJ's putting.
Hey, we all know there's plenty of social media coaches out there. There's plenty of people out that'll tell you exactly what to do. And you know what? I'm gonna play my over the top swing, and I'm gonna probably not have my eyes over the ball enough when I'm putting. And I'm gonna do these things, and no matter what you say to me, I'm probably not changing it. Um,
Yeah.
Only because honestly, if I can go out and shoot what I normally shoot and not have to change anything, why? Why switch anything? For me, there's no next level for me. Like I'm not out here on YouTube doing, challenges with, any of those top guys that are,
Yet.
yet. I would love to.
Me and you.
Yeah. Let's
I
let's
think,
let let's call someone out. Let's get on the board.
dude, one of the questions somebody had was, it was actually my friend Skylar. He sent you a message, like he wants to
Skylar
see a
Horn.
stroke play match. Yeah.
Yeah, I love
He wants to
Skylar.
see a
Good dude.
stroke play match between me and you. And I mean, you're a much better golfer than me, handicap wise, but I can chirp a little bit, get in your head,
Yeah. Like
pull
I
out a
said, you
camera
get
here
in
or
my
there.
head. You get in my head. It's even. It's even
Well,
match.
you gave me all the info I needed because, I am for all of the DJ's flaws, and he's got a lot of flaws. The best one is there's not much going on upstairs for Dustin Johnson, and I think my wife would agree with this. I have a little bit of the same thing, being Myrtle Beach guys, me and him. There's not much going on upstairs. Like I have a friend, Greg. If you're listening to this, I'm talking about you. Played golf in high school, played golf in college, and now he does insurance. But he can remember holes and what everybody did on that hole from, a round we played in high school. Like
Jeez.
he has a memory like that. And I feel like a lot of these PJ Tour guys have that too, because they can, like that video I was talking about with Shane Lowry, he was talking about every shot that he hits at Augusta, right? Like I hit a high draw on one, I hit a low fade on two, I hit a high fade on three, like went through it and like this is what he hits on every hole. Dude, I couldn't tell you on 18 what I just did on the 17th green. Like there's nothing going on up there. So that's my golf superpower. There's nothing there's nothing happening.
Short. You got the short memory down, right?
If I could string together like a good golf swing, I'd be a great tour player because I got very little going on there. It's like quick to make decisions. Like, what's the number? All right, 155. All right, that's like a smooth 8 iron. Got it. Boom. Hit the trigger. Like decision making happens quickly, and forgetting shots happens even quicker.
For sure. I'm like, you start off on one. I'm like, all right, bogey. Just expect a bogey on one every time, right? And all of a sudden, if I get a par, I mean, if you get a birdie on one, you're round screwed. It's just you're cursed, right? Um, so bogey on one's expected. My problem is like if I start going like 1, 2, 3 and start off the round like through 3 or 4 holes and I'm already 2 or 3 over, then I start thinking about it. And for me, like I'm good enough right now where I can battle back and eliminate some of those bogeys and go a front 39, back 39, maybe 37ish so I'm hot. But like if I start thinking about it too much, I can't stop thinking about it. And
Okay.
so my first 4 holes are like ultra important just for like my mental game. Other than I'm fine. And if I can get in, just 1 over through 4 holes, then I'm like, okay, we got a shot to go and low today. We could break 75. We're for sure breaking 80. There's no doubt about that. Um, but yeah, confidence is key for me. So
Yeah. 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 That's golf in general, right? It's a mental game. So if you can get hot and stop thinking about it and think about the positives and manifest positive outcomes, then they typically come. So
I think for back to Skylar's thing was between a stroke play between you and I think it's going to be closer than people, think too. I mean, that's me giving you what, 4 strokes. So my favorite handicap that I've ever been was like that 6 to 8, only because I feel like where I'm at now, I have to play super, super good or I'm losing money. And so also like if I think about giving strokes, I'm like, oh shit, I'm screwed. Um, so like that's where it's just gonna come into play. Where I think it's gonna be I think it'll be pretty close, but we'll find
yeah.
out. We'll
Yeah.
find out.
Maybe it's stream song. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So this next question was one of my favorite ones. Little wrist check. What do you got on the wrist today?
Today nothing. I'm not an everyday watch wearer. However, I do have I'm a Rolex guy. I splurged like 2-3 years ago on a Submariner. Love it. It's like silver, gold, black face, gold what do you call it, bezel all around the top. Um love it. It's not like an everyday wearer. Like I'm not gonna wear it in casual attire. But going out to dinner, something like mid casual to nice, like I'm wearing it all the time. I don't wear watches when I play golf. So for me, like I want to like them so much, and I've gone and I've bought some before, and then I'm like, I just don't ever wear them. So then they just sit around, or like I'm like a return them. Like I don't know. So for me, I have one really good watch that I love, and that's that one. So for me,
Yeah.
I'm a Rolex
Uh,
guy, but you, on the other hand, are a watch guy, and I'm
yeah, it's a
jealous of your collection that you have growing.
yeah, it's a new kind of thing for me because I when you're in golf and you're in these circles, everybody has a nice watch, and then you don't want to be the guy that's left out when you go to the Masters and you're like, oh, cool, I got an Apple Watch on. No disrespect for people that have an Apple Watch, it's fine. It's a good timepiece. Like it serves its purpose. There are some concerns I have with them, with the radiation and the EMFs and all that stuff that it gives off. While I say that while I'm wearing earbuds, but I just ordered some wired uh, headphones, so I don't have to fry my brain anymore.
There you go.
But that's
Nope,
neither
no
here nor there.
microwave
That's
in the
another
brain.
conspiracy. Dude, that's another conspiracy theory we can go down. So yeah, my watch I'm wearing today is it's a Tag Heuer Aqua Racer. Um, I like it because it's black and green, so very applicable to the Masters. I have started to wear a watch every day. It started with I got a Rolex from my grandfather. He passed it down to me, and I love it. It's a date just. It has like a rose gold face, and it's yellow, gold, and silver, and then a gold bezel, or I guess it's like a rose gold kind of color, like a pinky kind of face. And then so I got that, and then I got an Omega Speedmaster, which I'm a huge. We've talked about it. I love conspiracies. Oh, the Speedmaster it's called the Moon Watch, and it's the first watch that was supposedly worn on the moon if we went to the moon. And so I was like, I got this because this is a talking point. Anytime I wear it, they're like, oh, I like your watch. Why did you get a moon watch? I was like, well, if we went to the moon,
Yeah,
it
if
was
we
the
went
first
to the
watch.
moon.
And then it starts off that conversation, right? So that was my second one. And then now I got a couple of Victorinoxes, which is like my daily watches right here.
Nice.
And they're great, Swiss made, super expensive, um, anywhere from 600 to $1,200. So you're not like throwing a mortgage away
Yeah.
on a watch, like because I can't. Like I'm not in a position to buy a Rolex. Like, and the next watch I buy, it's probably gonna be for my wife because she doesn't have a nice watch, and we go places, and like she'll put on a Movado or something, but she wants, like, I can tell she wants something nicer. So that's the next one. But I have a couple of Victorinoxes. Ionics is this red one. I think it's pretty cool because it's red. You don't see a red watch as often. And then obviously my Tag Heuer. So yeah, I have quite a few. It's a growing collection. It's a new thing though. So I've been around, real watch people, and they start throwing out like reference numbers, and they're like, this is reference number 10054. And I'm
Yeah.
like, cool, dude. Like this is the Hulk from
Yeah. That's
from
what, like,
Rolex,
people
or
will
the
see in, like
Wimbledon.
people will see it in the videos, and if I'm out and about or I have a business meeting or I have something going on that day where I'm wearing it, and all of a sudden I roll into, like, a video or a cooking video and I have it on, um, I'll get messages all the time like, "Hey, what number is it?" I'm like, "Dude, I have no, I'm just gonna
Black.
delete this I'm like, I have no idea what it is. I'm gonna ignore that DM." Because I'm not, like I said, I'm not that into it, but I love wearing it for, certain occasions, obviously, and, like, anytime I'm, like any type of meeting, I'm wearing it, just not, like, not around the house. However, same thing, I think golf kinda got me into that, and even being at these events, like, it's just, like, something that everyone has on, and when you see them in person and, you go to the clubhouse, you go to all these, private clubs down here, like, everyone has it on. Um, kind of a funny story of how I got mine, and, we were actually shopping for my wife's, after we were like, what is it, the band after?
But yeah, the
Like
wedding band.
the wedding band, um, and so she wanted it was like a year after we were married, and she wanted to start her stack, girl terms, right? She wanted to start her stack on that finger, and
My
so we
wife said
went
the
in.
same thing.
Yeah, we were in there looking around, I'm like, "Oh," I fell in love with this watch, and we were looking at it, my wife goes, "Really? That is way too much right now." I'm like, "Yeah, that's absurd." Um, so I'm like, "Well, can we just think about it?" And she's like, "Yeah, for sure." I'm like, "Okay, do you see anything that you like?" She goes, "Yeah, I love this ring too." I'm like, "Oh, well, that's a little bit more than I think we were wanting to spend too." She's like, "Well, can we think about it?" So it was like role reverse. We both said the same thing about each thing. We go to lunch, had probably a couple too many beverages. We passed the jewelry store like on the way out, and we find ourselves in there, and we both walked out with what we wanted. We got
Oh
in
my
the
gosh.
we looked at each other when we got home, we were like, "Are you serious right now? Did we actually just do that?" And we were freaking out because we had just moved down to Florida. Work was, like, good, but it wasn't that good at the time. Um, we had some, like, buyer's remorse right away for, like we're like, "Oh, boy." At the time, I was doing some different work, she was doing social media stuff, she did the same thing, "Okay, I need to book every job I can get right now," and I was in sales doing some other stuff, I'm like, "Alright, extra calls today for sure," but it's one of those where I don't regret it at all, and I'm so glad that I have it because even to this point, for that watch that I have, like, I don't think I could go in and pull the trigger on something like that. Um justifying the price point. So, I mean, definitely be ready if you're gonna splurge on it. Be ready, and there's those different like levels of watches too, and that's what's so cool about them. There's so many, so many, so many good cool watches out there. Like I said, I just don't have that collection because I don't wear
Yeah.
them.
And I look at it like this too. Like, so my first one, obviously, it had some sentimental value coming from my grandfather.
Mhm.
I have two sons. So at some point, I'm going to hand my watches down to them. So I got to get another one to hand to my second son, my youngest son. Um, so there's that like collector's aspect too. Like, you have a cool story on how you got it. There's always going to be that story you can tell. Like, oh shit, did I actually buy this? Like, and it's a funny story, and it's relatable. So if you have a son one day, or a son-in-law, right? Like, this is years down the road, right? You can hand that to them and say, "Hey, here's a story about like how I got my watch, and I want you to have it," right? And that's the cool thing about the watch world, is there's obviously the buy and sell and the trade, and the people that flip them. But what I think is so cool about it is the stories that they can tell, and it's never going to go out of style, because if you get a good watch, especially like a Swiss made one that's handmade in Switzerland, it's never going to stop. It's going to keep going. So that's why I have my ones that I wear every day, my tag, my Victorinoxes. Those are like the ones that I'm not going to care if, like, I jump into the ocean and it kind of
Yeah,
cracks a little bit or get a
yeah,
little salt on it. but I'm definitely not doing that with my Omega and my Rolex.
What's your master's piece? Or is that undecided yet?
It's undecided. I might bring a couple.
Ooh, okay. Game time
That might
decision?
be, yeah, it might be a game time decision. You know, we'll see. I don't want to put it out there. I'm gonna keep people
Yeah.
guessing.
Love it. I love it.
So, and this next question was one that I actually was really interested in and glad somebody asked it because I am a terrible cook. I burn eggs, right? Like terrible. You, on the other hand, you know, you got some stuff cooking, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
So, how'd you get into the cooking thing?
For me, I started like exploring more of like that culinary stuff in college when I was sick of just like chicken and ramen. So that's when I figured out like how to kind of make things taste good and explored with like spices and um you know, nothing crazy. My mom wasn't like the biggest cook. Obviously, like we had good food growing up and she could cook, but my grandma was probably the biggest influence on like my culinary everything. Um, so college kind of started that, living on my own, kind of stayed on that same track, but then what really got when I kind of fell in love with it was when my wife was pregnant and she had the cravings and like the turn-ons and the turns off, right? Like, and then that's where kind of the whole bit was like, what do you want for dinner tonight? Started because I had no idea what she was in the mood for. It was always like a, no, I'm not feeling that. Oh, like that's gonna make me sick. So I'm like, well, what do you want then? And she'd be craving certain things, and so that got fun because it started with like, oh, what do we have in the pantry? Number one, like if you said chicken pot pie, like I don't just have that on hand to make it. But then that got fun for me because it's something like my love language is like giving, right? Like I love that. Being able to, you know, give the people that it just show appreciation and, you know, carrying a child is not easy. And, I thought that was just like a cool piece where I could just show her like how much I care about her as well. And so we started having fun with it. But then that really is why I fell in love with cooking is because I loved making things for her. There's no culinary experience. I never went to a culinary school. I've never taken any cooking lessons. It's all just kind of self-taught. Just I think, I mean, kind of like golf, right? Everyone's kind of self-taught at the beginning. You're just figuring out your swing. It's the same way for me in the kitchen, and just trial and error, I think, is the biggest thing. Now it's easy. Like there's meat thermometers, there's probes, you can, you know, smoke stuff. You can just throw the thermometer right in. It's pretty foolproof. Um, Burning eggs, I don't know how to help you on that. Um, just, you know, low and slow is always great. Um, but I think my number one out of all of that I just said, the number one piece of advice is I think people try to cook stuff on too hot of temperature all the time.
Mhm.
Um, just back it off. Medium low, medium max. I don't ever really cook anything unless I need a sear on like the cast iron, um, over medium.
Gotcha.
Like ever.
Yeah, I've gotten relatively good at doing stuff on the grill, like steaks
Mhm.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I got a new grill, so I'm trying to learn that, like how the temperature, like it gets too hot too fast. It's a Weber, right? And it's gas, so it gets too hot too fast. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta like kind of scroll this back a little bit. Um, so I'm kind of trying to learn the grill, but I got relatively good at steaks and can get them a good medium rare steak, you know, 9 times out of 10. And yeah, everything else tried a couple times. I'm okay with chili, but that's just really like dumping, you know, 10 ingredients into a pot and letting it kind of simmer for an hour.
Right.
You know, it's very simple. But I have my things I can cook and it's few and far between. So I watch your videos and I'm like, oh man, like I could do like a hamburger bowl or I can do a, a chicken pot pie. I watch it like, man, I could do that. So I gotta I was more asking for myself, like, hey, I need some tips, DJ. Like help a
Well,
brother
and
out.
that's kind of the thing too, is I think people feel intimidated by it or they don't know how, but like number one, going out to eat's just gotten so expensive as well. And I'm not like grocery shopping is not cheap either, but it's something that can help mitigate costs as well. And there's nothing worse than like going to a restaurant and just having an average meal. There's nothing worse than that. And so our whole thing is like, why would we even go out to eat if we know that I can just make this better anyway? And to that point, like, dude, you try something 2, 3 times, the third time's going to be good. You're going to learn enough from the first 2 times. And even like with my content that I share too, is I want just the average person, the average dad, the average, doesn't matter if you're a boy, girl, whatever you are, it should be easy enough for you to follow. And just trial by error. Like that's how I learned. I don't expect everything to turn out. I'm like, I still don't know how people present stuff so perfectly because every time I try to take a picture of something, I'm like, this doesn't look like how this professional blogger like does this. And maybe I did it the same way. And, every recipe that I have, I make and tweak and it's in my own. But then I'll look, I'm like, well, it's supposed to look like that. And it just doesn't taste damn good. Um,
Uh,
but I think it's cool
and
too.
that's really all that matters, right? Though, is
Yeah.
that it tastes good.
Yeah, and I love there's some other guys and Cooking with Daryl,
Hmm.
then three pieces of pecan. Um,
Yeah.
dude, they're awesome guys. I love their content. Love golf as well. So it's kind of cool to um there's more of the men cooking out there than people make it seem. I think that's my number one comment is like, dude, does your wife do anything? I'm like, what do you mean does my wife do anything? Yeah, she works a full-time job and watches our kid 70% of the time. Like the least I can do is cook dinner for her.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like people
Yeah.
just come at you and drag you from like a man's not supposed to be in the kitchen. What?
Well,
Since
dude,
when?
I'm on the other side of the spectrum, right? Because I can't cook, so I'm doing the other things. My wife is a really good cook, and her family have like they cook some crazy meals. Both her dad and her mom, and so like I'm the one that's like doing the laundry, folding that stuff, and keeping the house tidy while she's cooking dinner. Like so we've kind of figured it out, but I really want to learn. Like I got some Yeti sent me some cast irons. I already had a cast iron, so I really want to learn how to do some of this stuff.
Dude,
So
those Yeti cast irons are sick. Very, very jealous on that. You'll love it. But just explore. And like the nice thing is like oil that bad boy up, get it seasoned, and cast iron's pretty bulletproof. It's so much fun to cook and for me too it's super mindless where I mean not when I'm doing content then I got to be mindful but typically when I'm just throwing stuff together it's a time where I can just kind of like shut everything off too and just kind of like it gets my creative juices flowing like we talked about earlier like I don't love numbers. I like to just create and that's a way that I can express like my creativity as well. um so making something
that's
different too,
awesome.
just tweaking the normal things to where it's you kind of feel like a burger, but burger doesn't sound. Well, I'll just do a burger bowl, right? Or like a stuffed rolled meatloaf, like something just different, where it's you're satisfying those cravings. But I don't know.
Yeah. Have you
It's
ever
fun.
tried to
I love it.
cook like on a buddy's trip, like on a golf trip? Have you ever tried to cook for your boys, or you just go out to eat when you're out?
Yeah, no, I always cook for the guys. I kind of get delegated. It's just happens typically. Like if it's a golf trip, it's breakfast. Um, So breakfast Sammy's, breakfast burritos. I was just on a bachelor party in Whistler a couple weeks ago, and I had dinner and dinner and the next morning breakfast duties, which is super fun. You're having beers with the guys, and all right, you need help. I'm like, no, I got it. Actually, if you're in my way, we're just causing issues. You guys just enjoy, have some beers, talk to me while I'm doing it. I just love that. Um, but yeah, I think now that not that I have this presence either, but everyone just assumes that I constantly always want to cook. So there's never, whenever we're in like extended family or cousins are here, everyone's like, oh, you just want to cook tonight? And I'm like, fuck, not really. But I guess I will. Like it'll end up being good. But um, yeah, it's just, you're kind of like just always cooking now. So you get to, volunteered even though you may not want to, but I guess it's a compliment in a way, right?
Yeah, people want to eat your food. I think
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's a really good thing. So what was it? What was one of the other questions we had on here? We did all the
Um,
cooking ones, I think.
we had, oh,
All in one.
yeah, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So I I go back and forth on this one. First off, the question was, does a hole-in-one count on a par 3 course? A hole-in-one's a hole-in-one, so I wanna go back and forth. A hole-in-one is a hole-in-one. However, it's not a legitimate hole-in-one, but a hole-in-one's a hole-in-one.
How many do you have?
0. So, like, if I'm getting a hole-in-one on a par 3 course, I'm like, I have a hole-in-one, but, like, it's not a legitimate hole-in. I still would feel incomplete.
You have to have the asterisks. Like you'd say, like, oh, like DJ, do you have a hole in one? Yeah, but
Yep,
it was on the cradle at Pinehurst. It
correct.
was on 100. It was a 90-yard shot. Now I'm on the other side of the spectrum. It 100% counts because you're still hitting usually a full golf shot or a finessed shot, right? Like it's not like a hole in one at a putt putt course or a mini golf course, like you're putting. If you have a hole, like I saw a video of a guy. The Hay is the par 3 course at Pebble Beach that Tiger designed. On the first hole of their buddy's trip, first hole of the trip, it was on this par 3 course. He putted from the tee box on like say a 90-yard shot, and he got a hole in one. Right? I don't think that I wouldn't count that, but I 100% count 110-yard wedge shot with a 50-degree wedge or a 54-degree wedge.
Well, and that's why I go back and forth because I'm like, well, yeah, if it's 110 and 120-yard shot or 130-yard if it's that short of a track, I mean, it should count, right? But then, and we have that every single time I've asked someone that do you have a hole in one, and they're like, yeah. It's always, I swear, 70% of the time, yeah, but there's always a but behind it, and I feel like not that many people in general have hole in ones. Like I feel like people get very lucky, and people that have one seem to have like 5. And I can't. I mean, I can't buy one. I cannot buy a hole in one. I've been inches. I've blown the rim of the cup. I've done everything. I cannot buy one. Um, but then part of me is like, if I got it on a par 3 track or a short course, I would feel like I'm not checking that off the list. Like I still feel like I need to have a hole in one on a par, legitimate track, par 71, par 72, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Has to be on a legitimate course. So like I toggle back and forth. But I think if we're taking stance, I'm gonna go ahead and say it doesn't count on a short course.
Okay. I have a hole in one. I have one.
You do have a hole in one.
Yeah, but it was on a
Yeah.
simulator. So does that count? It was a full 6-iron, 175 yards, 74 yards on a simulator.
I mean, okay, that's a whole other topic. Do hole in ones on simulators count?
No, sorry, buddy. Like,
There you go.
sorry for people that play simulator golf, like X golf and 5-iron and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like, sorry,
No.
it doesn't
Yeah.
count.
It's like an arcade game at that point, right? Like it's just
It's like how many hole in ones do you have on Tiger Woods PGA Tour?
yeah,
14.
yeah,
A bunch.
yeah, 78 or something like that.
Yeah. So I asked Mr. Player how many he had the last time I played with him, and I think he said he had 96.
No way.
Yeah, it was
What?
well over 50.
God. Wow.
But you got to think he's been playing golf for, you know, a bunch of years.
Well, and every day for how many years, right? Like, and I have okay. So what's harder, albatross or hole in one?
Probably albatross because you don't get a lot of options. You don't get a lot of opportunities for those because that's only, on gettable par fives there you really have the opportunity to do that because that's a 2 on a 5, right?
Yeah. Yep. So I agree. I think which I do have an albatross, which it was a 4-iron from 217 yards out on a par 5. The sickest shot I've made golfing ever.
Yeah.
Not much is going to top that until someday that I get my hole in one. I'm saying I will get it because, dude, I'm not dying without getting one. I don't care if I'm down to my last years, every day I will spend playing golf until I get one. So, but yeah, I mean, it's like you said, I feel like you don't have the opportunities as much as, hole in one to get an albatross, number one.
Well, yeah, you don't. Like, I'm thinking about like this. I'm playing Championship Retreat on Monday, right? On either the Arnold Palmer or the Nicholas Nine. I don't think there's an opportunity to get there in two on any of the par fives. I mean, you have to hit a really good one on the par fives. But on Gary's nine, I think it's the one, two, three, four, the fifth or sixth hole. It's a par five, dogleg right, kind of looks like 14 at Augusta, has a creek running down, separating the green, the fairway from the green. And if you hit a good drive from, let's say, the blue tees or whatever, you're going to hit it like 240, 250, and you're going to have between 200, 190 in. That's real gettable on a par five.
For sure. Yeah.
And then there's another par five on that side. It's like 7 or 8.
This is
And
players side?
this is players nine. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's 7. It's downhill par five. And if you get a good one, I mean, it's going to run for days if the fairways are firm, which they probably should be because they haven't had a lot of rain over there. So I played it the first time. I hit a bomb down the middle, and I carry my drive like a good one goes like 265, 270. I had, I'm not shitting you, 150 yards in on a par five.
Damn.
Now, I'm not going to talk about the next shot
Yeah.
because that doesn't matter.
That's one of the
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, I did not have an albatross, nor did I have an eagle, nor did I have a birdie, and nor did I have a par with 150 yards in on a par five. Um, yeah, I kind of just melted down from there. It, there's a couple opportunities, and he does a good job with his designs. I feel like where you get those opportunities to leave with those, memorable chances. Like you're always going to talk about that albatross. You're always going to talk about the eagle that you had because you don't get a lot of chances for eagle either. But yeah, an albatross is definitely way harder than a hole in one because you just don't get those opportunities off.
yeah, and it just it's farther away, right? It's farther from the hole, typically. I mean,
Typically, I mean it's a long par three. A long par three. We have a couple of my club that are like 200 yards.
mhm,
So you got to be you putting a 4 iron or 5 iron out there, or sometimes a hybrid depending on wind.
yeah. No, I agree. I think Albatross takes the cake on that one. But I'm again, if I'm going down to my last years, I'm playing golf every single day till I get a hole in one. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening. Let's see, did we have one more? I think we had one more of those. The last one I think is kind of we touch on this a decent amount. And then, talking about our personal lives and balancing golf with dad life. I know our situation is different than most, or I guess mine is, with it being my full-time job. I'm able to get away a little bit more than probably the average dad. Well, we kind of touched base on this on the first episode, but we'll kind of recap it for people that didn't hear that, or maybe we need to be clear on some things. But what would you say? And also, you have like that dad guilt, right, of being gone. I know you touched on that as well. Give me the lowdown on like what that is for you, because I feel like I don't feel the guilt as much as maybe you do. But then again, like this is more like my full-time job, where you said you do have an additional job on top of this. So I feel like maybe guys would relate a little bit more to you when talking about this.
Yeah. So look, I have a full time job outside of social media. Social media is a job, and I could probably make it a full time job if I chose to. I don't choose to at this time because I like the consistency of, the every other week paycheck. My wife also works a pretty intense, full-time job. I call it her big girl job. Like she has a full-on big girl job that is way more stressful than mine. Because even my real job, it's a sales situation, and it is what it is. I can most of the time break away and go play during the week if I set up the week properly and if it's not like a super busy season for us. And I can make the excuse like, hey, this is part of my social media job. But I always feel bad because, you know, unless I'm home and I'm still doing the things that I'm supposed to do as a dad and as a partner and as a husband, I'm here, I'm picking up the kids from school, or I'm home as soon as they get home or shortly thereafter. I'm here for bath time. I'm here for all this other stuff. That is a part of being a dad and being, a good husband. I really feel bad about playing golf. So I don't play on the weekends. I get offers, at my club to play all the time on Saturdays and Sundays
Yeah.
because that's when most of the people have time to play. And I'm just not going to do it because, I do coach soccer now. I'm a soccer coach of a 5-year-old soccer team, the Purple Cheetahs. Go Purple Cheetahs. And so we're a normal family at the end of the day. And me going to play golf on a Saturday or Sunday, it's not happening because the kids are home from school. My wife needs her time to kind of decompress from a stressful work week. And the last thing I'm going to do is, you know, bounce out and say, "Hey, I'll see you in 6 hours," after I have some beers with the boys. I have a very unique position similar to you. Like I get to travel for work as part of the social media thing, and I get to go play golf at, amazing golf courses on Mondays or of the Masters, or, at Stream Song in June. I'm going to be there for 3 days. Or I'm going to Utah in October. I'm going to play golf a handful of times there. Like there's so many other opportunities
Mhm.
that I have to play golf that I just don't choose to do it when I'm home because it's going to take time away from my family and put more stress on my wife. Now, on the flip side, I do have friends that are normal people. They have full-time jobs and, their wives work too and all that kind of thing. They have figured out a system where they kind of trade off and the wife gets to go do her thing, whether that's tennis or horseback riding or whatever it is. And the husband gets to go, play 9 holes on the Thursday afternoon league at the club. So it's all about balancing and just making sure that you're not overstepping and you're not taking time away from your wife that, you could be helping out with. That's going to put more stress on her. That's like my thought process, at least.
Yeah, well, and I think too, I mean, that's also a big difference between you and me. You have three, I have one. So like you're outnumbered. So leaving leaving her alone already outnumbered, it's even gonna get worse. And so um yeah, I think finding that balance is very, 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 very important. I tell my wife all the time, like, anytime you ever need anything or want to get out of the house, go do something. I'm cool with right now. Like we're all good. Go do your thing. But again, it's only her. I don't have two other ones with like you do. So it's a little bit different in that case. And um, I did have I was a I mean, I'm a normal guy, right? I don't have probably the normal job that most people do, but at one point I did. And again, it was just about finding that balance too, because, you a lot of times people can only play because their jobs are very intense that they can only play on Saturday and Sunday. So then it's like,
Hmm.
all right, pick that tee time. Like, can we get first out? Get out there at 7:10 a.m. and I can be home. It's at that point you're probably not having a 5-6 hour round. You can probably finish in 4 hours. Especially if you're playing a private club, you're off in 4 hours no matter what. Um, wives, if you're listening, maybe it's 8 hours. No, I'm just joking. Um, it's 4 to 5 hour round. So you're
Yeah.
back by noon. You still have kind of like that rest of the day, where they're not tackling that whole day alone. Um, that's been huge too. Like a 10 a.m. tea time's kind of like, dude, what do you like? Even I'll say it's what time you playing today? Like 10 a.m. She's like, really? Like that's kind of the whole day, because at that point, then you're back at like 2:33. You're still back by dinner. I don't know. It's weird. Like either pick the morning or pick kind of like that
Afternoon.
afternoon. But then afternoon gets tough because then you're gone for dinner and bedtime routine, right? So like
Yeah. Well,
I try to stay
or
away
like,
from that.
well, this is how I see it, right? You're either, no matter what, you're gone for a big portion of the day. Either you're gone first thing and you're not there for the kids to wake up and get breakfast going and kind of, get the day going, and you're back by 12, 11 or 12, or you're gone from, let's call it 1 to 5, and you're gone the back half of the day. But if you're gone the back half of the day, you can have the kids in the morning, or kid in the morning in your case, kind of let your wife, chill, go on the walk, go to the gym, go have brunch with her friends, like go whatever she wants, do what she wants to do, but be home by 1 so I can leave and you can kind of do that trade. When we had the twins, that's what we did when I would play on Saturdays or Sundays or when the kids were home or on like holidays or whatever. we would kind of juggle it like that. Like, hey, pick your time either in the morning or the afternoon, and then the other one gets to do, their thing in the off time. So yeah, that's kind of the
I
thing.
feel like too so we spend a lot of time in the summertime up at, like, our family's cabins, and so there's always, our other cousins are there with their babies, or moms or, grandma and grandpas are around. There's a lot of people around, and then so that's a little bit different too because, like,
Yeah,
my wife's not alone with the baby at that point. There's so many other people around, and they're all the babies are hanging out together. They're doing stuff at the like, everyone's kinda hanging out, so then, like, some of the guys will break away and go play golf, in the morning. It's always the mornings, then you have the boat and everything in the afternoon, right? Um, so a lot of, like, my golf in the summertime happens up at the cabin or, like, with, like, family events in a way, right? Or family and friends, or a lot of our friends have cabins that are close to each other, so it's like that meetup spot where the girls are gonna meet up with the babies and the guys are gonna go play. So at the end of the day, it's finding that balance and just, don't overstep it. You don't wanna be that guy that she's talking about to to ever to the
yeah,
girls being like, "He's gone again golfing." Like, just don't be that guy. Just
yeah. You never want to be that guy.
yeah.
But I mean, we are really lucky to have like pretty unique jobs, right? Like you more so than me because it's your full time situation. But we have unique jobs where we can go play, and that's kind of the benefit of it. If you can get a work from home job, like try to get it because that will benefit more. It'll afford you more opportunities to go play. But at the end of the day, we got to count our blessings. And I always try to pinch myself and say, hey, dude, you got it pretty freaking good right now. Like you are able to go out and practice. Most days if I choose to, you're able to go break away and play 9 holes and still be home for the kids. And I think playing 9 holes is kind of underrated
Mhm.
because you can get it in an hour and a half,
Yeah,
especially at my club or private clubs. Like
for sure.
do that if you really got to scratch that itch.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, like yeah, no, I mean, you said it perfectly. 9 holes, I feel like people look at 9 holes, they're like, "Well, it's just not enough." Well, it's like, it's better than nothing. I mean, it's at least you're getting it out and play. It's better than going and hitting the range for 20 minutes. Like, at least you're actually going out and playing and, putting in a legitimate score and getting your time that you need too. It's like, you know, it's our wives go and do their things that they don't last 5 hours, 6 hours typically. They're an hour and a half, 2 hours. So we get ahead on that, but Um, coming up, what's this weekend? You guys are around just hanging out, then you leave Monday or you leave Sunday night?
Trying to figure out what time I'm playing golf on Monday. That kind of dictates it. I don't want to get up and drive at 3 a.m., but I probably will because it's
How
only
long
three and a
how
half
long's that
hours.
drive for you?
3.5 hours,
Not horrible then.
or maybe right under 4. So it's not terrible. Like I can do it. And there's a Bucky's in between. I can stop and get some barbecue on the way.
Oh, I love Buc-ee's. I love Buc-ee's.
Dude, shout out Bucky's.
Yeah, I freaking love Buc-ee's.
Available for sponsorships here.
Yeah,
So I can stop there. So we'll see. But yeah, it's 4 hours. It's for 3.5, 4 hours. So I'll probably drive early Monday morning, get there. You know, I'm really, you know what I'm looking forward to this year? My son is getting into golf, right? And I've talked about it and I've posted a bunch of videos about it. He loves it. He begs me to go play at this point, which is awesome for me. I am going to sit him in front of the TV on Sunday and watch the drive, chip, and putt with him at Augusta National. And
amazing.
he'll say, hey, dude, watch all these kids. Like that kid's 3 years older than you. Cause he's starting to realize like, some of the kids that he plays with in the neighborhood, they're 5, 6, 7, like 7, 8, 9, they're a little older and he's turning 5 in July. So we can sit down and we like, look at this, like this person is the same age as, the girls across the street. Like you could be here and kind of get his juices flowing a little bit. Uh, so I'm excited to watch Drive, Trip, and Putt with my kids this weekend. I can't wait for that. I did that when I was a kid. I don't know if you did, um, but I'm excited to watch Drive, Trip, and Putt. I'm excited for Monday, heading to Augusta.
Mhm.
Might go to Hooters when I get there. Might stop by,
Yeah.
get a little chicken wing because the food options in Augusta. I don't know if anybody's told you, but they are terrible.
Well, I feel
Like
like people don't understand, like, it's not the nicest city.
no,
It's there's
dude.
there's not much available there, and I think, who I'm going with as well, he's like, "Yep, we gotta go to the Hooters," because John Daly, he does, like, a show there, right?
he parks his bus at the Hooters and like signs autographs and like drinks and chips one handed, like
Okay.
or putts one handed or something. Like it's not a show, but you pay like whatever, 10 or 15 bucks and go see John Daly. I don't care about seeing John Daly. I've seen him enough in Myrtle Beach. We're drinking his vodka and his freaking like John Daly whatevers. Um, doesn't it doesn't tickle my fancy to meet John Daly. I've met him. It's cool. It's whatever. But there's not a lot of good food options in Augusta. Like, there's a reason why Adidas a few years ago did their Waffle House collection because it's kind of what there is. And I will say I got there on Sunday a few years ago. Like I drove down on Sunday and I was with my friend Sean and we were trying to find somewhere to eat in Augusta on Sunday night. And you got to remember, we are in Georgia in the Bible Belt, right? Things closed down about 10 o'clock and he flew in from LA. So he got in like 7:38 at the airport and then got to the Airbnb. So we're pushing 9 o'clock by the time we're sitting down to have dinner and drinks. And the place was shutting down about 9:30. Like it took us 30 or 40 minutes to get like a burger and fries.
Jeez.
So, and a beer, right? Like we weren't blowing it out. We weren't getting like bolognese or
Yeah.
something. Um, the food options are pretty limited. I have a note in my phone of all like the nicer restaurants that are in Augusta, but yeah, it's pretty limited as far as food goes and like restaurants. Um,
You're gonna
so yeah,
you're gonna need to share that note with me. I'm gonna have
yeah, I will.
to figure that. I'm not the biggest Waffle House fan either, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I can help you out there. But there's a Whole Foods. You can go to the Whole Foods and get a pizza. There's a Mellow Mushroom. I've hit Mellow Mushroom a few times. So mellow mushroom's always good. But yeah, I'm getting in on Monday. Gonna eat, play golf, eat, tournament on Tuesday, and then see you. We'll do a live pod from there.
yeah. No, that's a good weekend. I'm a little busy. I don't know. I got a message potentially going to live on Friday, the live event in Miami. Um, I just don't know if we have time for that. We have to go to. So my wife also does social media. So we have the Tortuga Festival it's Fort Lauderdale Beach. She has a contracted job Saturday and Sunday there. So we're in Fort Lauderdale Saturday, Sunday, staying Sunday night, coming back over to Naples Monday, stay for the night. Then I leave Tuesday morning to Augusta till Friday. So I kind of have a busy,
Yeah,
couple of
busy
days
week.
here. But it'll be super fun. I'm so excited to get there. Live pod on Tuesday, like we said. And just it'll be cool. I'm excited to like see you again in person. I feel like it just I wish we lived closer, man.
Yeah, maybe one day
Yeah.
we can get you to North Carolina.
I'm I'm down. Give me the right. Dude, I'm a chameleon. I can kind of live wherever. Um, but it'd be convenient.
Yeah, it would be convenient. We could have a studio. It'd be nice. Um, golf, you could join a club for a little cheaper. Anyways, we'll talk about that when the time comes.
Yeah.
We got to get a couple sponsors to get this thing rolling a little bit
Right.
better. But anyways, I'm excited to see you next week. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, share the podcast, and leave a review on Spotify and on iTunes. It helps out a lot. It helps get us up in the algorithm, which is the game we play in this world. So thanks again for listening to the Twosome podcast. Again, I'm Blair Wheeler here with DJ Thama, and we'll see you next week from Augusta.
From Augusta, baby. Let's go. I'm pumped.